So when we talk about logic gates, when we talk about ICs, we know that these logic gates are going to function in a particular way. Like we took example of say and, we know the operation will be multiplication. When we talk about addition, we know that if we use an or this sorry or gate, we will get the operation of addition. So these all these circuits are being integrated. Integrated means merged together in a small little IC, and then we get the function of that operation. Now we have studied about various types of gates. We have studied about basic gates, that is and, or, and not. We have also studied about combinational gates, that makes XOR and XNOR. Then we have studied about universal gates, that is NAND and NOR. Why we call them universal gate? Because with the help of these only one type of particular gate, we can go for any kind of operation. We can get result of any operation. Now, how these ICs have been designed, that also we have seen that in the when the manufacturing of IC is happening, at that time only we will be infusing some donor atoms and acceptor atoms, so in such a way that in that particular part P and N is being generated. Now this P and N is generated in such a way that they behave like BJT, diode, FET, sometimes even resistors. So just by changing its small little proportion of your intrinsic semiconductor while converting into extrinsic, that leads to a various circuits inside the IC. Right. Now, how are and what is the circuit diagram of these ICs? Like we said, we have kept a transistor and a resistor so that it behaves like a NOT gate. So now when we study about such kind of circuits, we call it as logic family. Logic family means we are going to get a logical output with the help of some combinations of transistors, diodes, resistors within the IC. Now, there are a few characteristics that we need to know. That is a speed. When we talk about speed, we are talking about the switching speed. Means when it is moving. Since we are talking about digital input, we need to know we will be having one, we'll be having zero. When we want that our output should be received quickly, as soon as the input is given, out should be coming out. So we call it about speed, switching speed, one and zero. How quickly they shift from one to zero. That is speed. Now, when we talk about fan-in, how many logic circuits or how many inputs the IC can handle or that particular circuit can handle, we call it as fan-in, and how many output it can handle at a time, we call it as a fan-out. Then, when we talk about noise immunity, we know that there is an internal noise that is generated by the movement of electrons. A thermal energy has been created. Because of that, you must have seen that IC gets warmed up. So so how much that circuit or that IC can bear that noises, unwanted signals that have been received. We call it as a noise immunity. Now, when we talk about power dissipation, again, here we are talking about the speed. We have seen that 1010 continuously the input is changing. And accordingly, we are going to get the output. So naturally, when it is switching from 1 to 0, it will get heated up. So power needs to be dissipated so that your circuit remains cool and you get a correct output. Now, these different when these ICs have been created with the help of to get that particular operation as an output, there are various ways that it is been designed. So first, we are studying about bipolar families, where we are going to use emitter, resistors, then diodes, then transistors. When we use such kind of bipolar components, where the current can flow from both directions, so bi and polar means both ions can be used for the current. So we call it as a bipolar families. Like we have seen the examples here, ECL, then RTL, then DTL, TTL, and then DL. Now, next comes is another way of making these ICs is with the help of MOSFET. We know what is MOSFET. It's metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, MOSFET. So now for MOSFET, we know that if the channel, if the basic substrate is N-type semiconductor, we call it as NMOS. When substrate it is a P-type of semiconductor, we call it as PMOS. When we are using both N and P together, we call it as complementary MOSFET. So CMOS. Then the third one is when we are combining both. Which one? Bipolar also and MOSFET also together to make an IC, we call it as a BiMOS. Now, we have seen that when, first we will start with the bipolar families. We know we have options of resistor transistor logic. We can create a diode and transistor logic. We can make transistor and transistor logic. Then emitter and emitter coupled logic. So now here you can see this RTL and DTL is an old one. Nowadays it's not used. TTL is preferred more. Why is it preferred? Because the switching speed is higher. We can get response better. So all the drawbacks that DTL and RTL and DTL were having was being taken care by TTL and ECL. So TTL is the most preferred when we talk about the this bipolar families. So now what is TTL logic? TTL logic is basically we are using transistor logic. Now here this TTL is been merged, combined with some transistors, some diodes to get a respective output. Now when we talk about respective output, we are talking about respective operation for what that IC has been built for. So here again we know that advantage we have with TTL logic is that analog value can vary between 0 to 0.8. If you go for ideal condition, we talk only as 0. If you talk about practical condition, then it can vary from 0 and around the value. So here 0 to 0.8 is the variation that is accepted in a form of a logic 0. And then 2 to 5 volts. Again, we have got a range of voltages that can vary, and we call it as a logic 1. Now advantage we have just now seen, it's a high switching speed is there. So 125 megahertz is the switching speed. We can call it frequency also. Then noise is less. So less noise is one more advantage, and the more current driving capability is there. So more current can be drawn with it. So naturally more output can be connected to it. Now here, when we talk about NOT gate, so what is a NOT gate? NOT gate again is, if you can see in the diagram, it's a transistor having a few resistors across it. And we have given a DC voltage so that emitter and collector of the transistor gets a respective voltage. So it stays turns on. Now in this TTL circuit, logic 1 is represented as plus 5 volts. Now this causes transistor to turn on. Right, as soon as the transistor is turned on, all the current passes through the collector to the emitter and back to the ground. Now this leads the transistor bypass the current to the LED, and directly LED goes off. Since it gets bypassed, the LED remains off. But when the input is logic 0, that time we represent it as 0 volt. Why? Because the transistor stops conducting and goes off. Now when it goes off, entire 9 voltage goes through LED, and we can see that LED is on. So if you see here, what is happening when logic 1 was given, your LED was off. When logic 0 was given, LED was on. That means it's behaving like a NOT gate, right? So what is NOT gate? NOT gate mostly gives the complementary output. I mean, 1 is input, 0 is output. When 0 is the input, 1 is output. So that is how this NOT gate operation is been created with the help of TTL circuit. Then we have NAND gate. Now we know what is NAND gate. NAND gate is basically just complementary of AND gate. And what is AND gate? AND gate is only when it is 0, 0, you will not, only when it is 1, 1, you will get the output. All other three conditions, you will not get the output. So naturally, NAND gate, that is complementary of AND, will be, you will get output for 0, 0 condition, 0, 1 condition, 1, 0. Means either of the input is 0, you will get the output, and both the inputs are 1, you will not get the output, right? So here you can look at the circuit diagram. We are having multi-emitter input. So you can see A and B, we have two emitters. Output collector is only 1. Now here, why we have given two emitter input? Because it indicates two inputs of the that has been given to it. So based on how many input NAND gate is there, that many emitters will be there. So because this is a 2-input NAND gate, 2 emitters are there. If it was 3-input NAND gate, 3 emitters would have been there. Right. Now, when we know what is the proportion we have seen, when we have 1, so 2 to the power of 1 will give you 2 outputs. So here 1 is number of inputs, where 2 indicates the binary value. Now, if it's 2 to the power of 2, means when if the 2 inputs are given, binary says 2. So 2 to the power of 2 makes it 4. That means 4 combinations of these inputs is possible. Input is 3 and binary says 2. So 2 to the power of 3 makes 8. That means 8 input combinations are possible where you can get some or the other output. So based on what type of NAND gate we are giving, 1 input, 2 input, 3 input NAND gates, accordingly number of emitters will be designed in the circuit. Now here, there are 2 transistor stages, a multi-emitter input transistor, an output transistor. Now the function of this multi-emitter transistor is same. What is it? A parallel transistors are there with a common base and collector terminal. Now few things you need to remember, your transistor will be on only when you get a base voltage. That is a very important condition. Without that, your transistor will not turn on. So here, where as soon as it gets a base voltage, it gives the output at the collector. Yes. And so based on this combination, since the output of one transistor is going as input of another transistor, or collector output is becoming base of another transistor, you need to know that only when we get the base voltage, your transistor will be turned on and you will get the output. Next, we will continue in the next class.